Hi, I'm back for phase 2 of preparation video in preparation for tonight's nutrition class. I'm making chicken paella. So now I've chopped up the vegetables and I'm going to start the cooking process. I chopped up yellow bell pepper, onion, garlic. I minced it with a Pampered Chef garlic press, but you can get a garlic press from Walmart. And then it calls for canned tomatoes. And you most of the time are going to just need to use petite diced canned tomatoes. However, I did have the time because I made a point that today was a priority to do this. So I prefer to use fresh vegetables whenever possible. It cuts down on sodium and adds nutrients. Now the brown rice, again, you may not always have time to do this extra step, or you may have to do it over the weekend before the week happens, already make some brown rice, but it's almost to a point where I'm going to be able to use it as we take these next steps. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I like when a recipe calls for olive oil because that's a healthy fat. And we're going to start sauteing the vegetables to make what they call a sofrito. So I'm putting the dial, the temperature, on low to medium. Measuring out my 2 tablespoons. And we're going to cook these until like the onions are translucent, they're soft, and then we're going to add the chicken. The garlic does not go in at the same time as the onions and the bell pepper because they just take a little less time to cook. A way to save time is if you have different meals and you know the menus for your week, if you go ahead and chop and dice. If you don't have time to make the whole meal, if you already have things like this diced up, it still gives you a really quick preparation time in the week when life gets busier. That's often a deterrent. I'm going to use just a little bit of salt. And then I want to talk about the paella season. Saffron is often used in a paella dish, but and this paella mix was given to us, so I'm using that. But one reason why I picked this recipe is because it called for, and I'm going to get the recipe so I make sure I pronounce it right. This recipe called for a paellero, just like a mixture of ingredients that has a little bit of salt, paprika, pepper, and saffron, because saffron can be really expensive. And so maybe you don't even like the taste of saffron. It's not very pungent, but one of the big things that can help us decrease sodium in our diet is to explore other spices. So maybe saffron's not the one because of expense, and maybe, again, the taste isn't for you. But when you're making a dish like paella, unless you are just really rigid about, look, this is going to be exactly like the Spanish people eat it, then you can just improvise and play around with spices that you and your family like. Okay? So I'm going to leave you here as I'm waiting for this to saute, and I'll start browning the chicken and cook it about most of the way through, and I'll be back when I get to that step, okay? Thank you. See you tonight.